Make sure it's on video. Okay. Give a couple more minutes.
Does that work for somebody with more sticking out? Thanks so much.
All right, she said, yeah, take the name badge off because this is up the recording.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Where is it? This?
The name badge, yeah.
Is it my necklace too?
Yeah, I don't think it'll bang against the necklace.
Okay.
We're just doing the classic way, so
Oh, I have a stone in my shirt.
As long as it's not just clanging around.
Okay.
The mic's up here.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be good.
The many hidden rocks. Okay. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes to see if anyone else is going. Are you guys okay if I leave the door open when I talk? Okay. Go ahead and get started. All right, good afternoon. I'm really excited to be here. This is actually my first speech after going through severe trauma. Come on in. Sorry. I'm excited to share with you guys my journey of healing and finding your way by listening to your intuition and trusting yourself. I'm absolutely fascinated with science, as you can see over there. And I'm going to be sharing how healing works through scientific data and research. The fact that these healing arts are foreign to our Western culture is, in my opinion, the very reason we're all suffering and struggling to simply live. And believe me when I say we are all suffering. Don't believe social media. My name is Sara Harvey. I own Aspen Rose Spa and Wellness Center in Ogden across from Weber State. I suffered a lot of trauma 6 years ago. I spent the last 5 years rebuilding my life and my daughter's life while learning how to heal both of us and navigate our new lives as an only parent. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, panic attacks, depression, anxiety. Literally everything was ripped away from us and I had to just figure it all out. I lost my faith, everything, which is pretty standard for trauma. Come on in. Today I'm going to discuss the connection of the universal consciousness, however you want to define that, by using your intuition. I'm going to be discussing the following sciences: metaphysics, quantum physics, neuroscience, psychology, physiology, and spiritual practices, and discussing how they all work together to achieve total healing in the mind, body, and soul. When we understand the coding of the universe, we can understand the coding of the body and how the two are intricately woven together. Life is a series of ups and downs. It's just like the heartbeat. It's a pattern, and we don't want it to flatline. That's not good. So we need to trust when we see the ups and the downs that it is designed that way. This. I'll leave it open. Okay. So I'm just informing everyone kind of what we're going to talk about today. I went through a lot of trauma. My journey led me to open a wellness center where I help people heal. And I'm going to use science to help you understand it because a lot of people don't understand that energy work is now scientifically studied and proven. So I'm mentioning how life is a series of ups and downs, just like the heartbeat, it goes up and down. It's what it's designed to do, and you don't want it to flatline. We have to experience all of our emotions and feelings. I have found in my practice that some that appear to be the happiest are some of the sickest. They're suffering because they're not validating their wounds and working through them, so the feelings get buried and the body screams out in pain and disease in order to be acknowledged. It's important to feel all your feelings, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. When we study life and all of its highs and lows, we can see that there seems to be a pattern. Journalist Ellen Hopkins is quoted stating every high has an equal measurable low. Similarly, author Norman Cousins says for every low, there's an equal but opposite high. And of course we know Isaac Newton found that for every action there's an equal but opposite reaction. I have here a few visual aids. Unfortunately, since life is so unpredictable, my Newton's cradle got a little chaotic. So, but isn't it just like, this is life, right? So you have to surrender to it. What's quantum entanglement? I was going to say that, but I didn't know if people would understand me.
Yeah.
So, but you've all seen these, they've been around forever. And so you know that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, no matter how you play it out. And so I do have some other things that we're going to look at. Okay, so we can visualize our life, if you imagine that this is working, having these equal and opposite experiences. Keep in mind that we all see life through our own lens. Nobody sees life the same. I've studied it, you won't find it. No two people agree on everything, which is why our world is crumbling. So, okay, we have our highs and lows, but we all experience life through our own lens. And it's important to remember this. Like, I like visual aids because you're going to remember this. When you see yellow, I'm seeing red. If I see green, you're seeing pink. And if we can understand that every person is seeing things from their own experiences, then we can love each other and have more compassion to lean in rather than deflect and protect. Now with Newton's cradle, we see these opposing directions on a linear plane. Let's look at a slinky. So my daughter Skylar, she's going to help me. Let's bring this up front. Go grab that, because we're going to stretch it out. Lift it up. I'm really big on community and embracing one another, so I think it's good to show me having a partner. Okay, so if you'll grab that into the slinky. So what we're looking at is equal and opposite reactions, and go ahead, Sky. Yeah, just show me what you showed me last night with the waves. Okay, and what did you call these? Longitudinal waves. Okay, so you're seeing that. Now we're going to look at the signs of a wave, and you're seeing how there's an equal high and an equal low. And if we had this going this way, which we probably could, let's go this way. Okay, are you seeing the equal highs and equal lows? Raise it up. Okay, so this is what our life is like, and if I go faster, but you'll notice that there are little nodes where it doesn't appear to be moving. It's called a node. So that is also what life is like. You're going to go through extreme mountaintops where you're so excited, and then you're going to go through extreme lows shortly after, and then sometimes you're not going to move. And so you can see this through science and physics. Okay, so then, thank you. Okay, I'm showing you all of these to give you a good understanding that life is not meant to always be good. Even though that's what people think, that the idea is to be happy, it's not. The idea is to be everything. You're given every bit of your emotions to feel all of them. And that is how you're going to be the healthiest. It's not always good, it's not always bad. And when it is good, shortly after, you might have some bad, and when it's bad, shortly after there's good, so it's important that you hold on. This is designed to help us grow and move forward through a series of ups and downs. If it's designed this way, it cannot be bad. Everything is working for us. Now we just need to learn to let go, trust, surrender, and listen to our intuition. And when we do this, everything will continually get better. It doesn't mean the highs and the lows will go away, but we do graduate to higher levels each time we overcome one. We get stronger and we overcome the next. We can trust in this process because we all often hear people say, I don't regret anything I've gone through because it made me who I am today and I'm stronger for it. So I've told you who I am, but I haven't really explained to you what I do. I'm an intuitive healer, herbalist, and coach, and massage therapist. 6 years ago, as I began working on people through massage, I began having visions and knowings of things that my clients had gone through. I could see it and feel it and remember it as if it was all my own memory. I thought I had lost my mind, and I guess in a way I did. But I think you have to lose your mind in order to find it. You have to break the programming that this world has on you. The more I leaned into this gift and allowed it to show me things, the more my clients healed. I learned so much that I didn't know, but I didn't know how to talk about it because I didn't think anyone would believe me or understand me. So please allow me to do my best to provide the science for what I've learned. Quantum physics is powerful in its ability to define all spiritual practices and metaphysics, as quantum physics is what has led humanity to divinity for years. The belief in the divine, whatever name you feel comfortable calling it, universal consciousness, higher self, Holy Spirit, God, or whatever else you choose to call it to fit your current beliefs, is our guide to perfect peace, health, and happiness. This is the source of the intuition. This is the connecting energy of all things, and when you can tune into this frequency through simply learning to trust yourself and no one else and nothing else, that's important. No one else has your answers. You will be healed. For today, we will simply call it intuition, but please hear whatever descriptive word works best for you. HarvardBusinessReview.org states, intuition is often dismissed as mystical or unreliable, but there's a deep neurological basis for it. The science of intuition has been a topic of interest for many researchers, philosophers, and scientists. Intuition is the knowing of things without consciously thinking through them. It's a quick and yet quiet voice that you can feel throughout your entire being, and yet you don't know how you know it. As they say at bravethinkinginstitute.com, intuition is the voice of your heart, which is never fearful and provides a calm, quiet, and true answer to the question. Our intuition is like a muscle. I think you've probably heard that. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And that's very, very true. When I started really listening to myself, I would leave something on, and I'd get home, and I don't know, maybe it burned a hole in the carpet or something, and I was like, I knew I should have turned that off. And the more that you have those I knew I should have moments, and you start listening to it, that muscle gets stronger and stronger, and you're going to be given more and more intuitive utterances. As a massage therapist and intuitive healer, I've come to find that almost everyone on the planet has the ability to hear their intuition. Most people don't trust themselves, though, and so they make wrong or bad decisions that don't serve their greatest good, and so they come to me for guidance. While I'm hands-on with my clients, I can channel their subconscious mind and read their intuitive thoughts, and then I discuss with them why they went through it, what they went through, and what they're meant to learn and do moving forward. When they follow this advice, everything in their lives changes and it gets better, as long as they remain surrendered to their intuition. When we take control of our thoughts and we live through the fear and ego, we stumble back and fall back into cycles of unnecessary hardships that are really hard to get out of. I see this happen too often, so I have a mission to guide and teach and educate others in how to clearly listen and follow their intuition, so that they can walk in their calling and be their best selves. In doing this, the ripple effect will achieve world peace because the intuition is guiding the human race to love, peace, wholeness, and unity within each individual, which then will ripple outward to create the same effect around us in the world. I'm sure you've all heard that your reality is a reflection of your subconscious mind, so this is what we're talking about. You may wonder, how can she channel someone's subconscious mind and know their thoughts and trauma? That's an excellent question. I'm so glad you asked. Well, okay, scientists today have now discovered that DNA is like a computer, and you can download and upload information onto it. They've downloaded and uploaded ebooks onto one droplet of DNA. They've also discovered that the DNA has a Wi-Fi signal. So that's how we can read and feel each other's energy. It's through Wi-Fi signals. If you've ever heard anyone say that they're getting a download, it's exactly what they're getting. So trust it. I think that when you can understand the science and you're like, oh, scientists have actually studied this and they're seeing it, maybe I can trust myself. Science is absolutely fascinating, and we're going to cover so much today. The string theory and quantum physics state that we're all connected by invisible strings. We're all one. It reminds me of a series of tree roots, how they're all intertwined under the ground, and they connect with each other and they speak and communicate. The same with plants. Plants have protein receptors where they can actually see, smell, and hear. Not in the same way we do, but similar. I believe that when we can all tune into this connection, we can all come together with love and acceptance, and we can achieve and reach heaven, but that will take some time. Okay, I'm going to ask that we all do a little experiment. I haven't done it with this many people, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to ask that you all hold hands with the partner next to you. If you're uncomfortable doing that, then kind of move out of it. But if you are okay, let's all scoot together and hold hands. We're going to make a human circuit. And I'm going to show... Yeah. The reason that I'm doing this is to really...
Are we lost here? Okay.
I have not tried it with this many people, so if it doesn't work, we'll go down.
Are you ready?
Okay, can we fill in the circle?
Complete the circuit.
Okay, let me hold his hand. Yes. Skylar, hold his hand. Yeah, real hold, real hold. All right, is everyone holding?
I kind of hope somebody
Okay,
shuffles
hold.
their feet and shocks us.
So this came through every single person's electromagnetic frequency to turn this on and create a circuit.
Okay, somebody break the circuit.
Yeah, someone else break it. Now hold again. Do you see it? So this is a visual of how important it is that we stay connected. When we're connected, we're very, very powerful. But it's because we're not, through trauma and feeling like we need to stay guarded, that our world crumbles. So this is what we're trying to get to, okay? Okay, have a seat, thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so I created on my own, and that's why a lot of spiritual practices have you doing this, because it creates the whole circuit. And a lot of times if you're thinking, this is why you do this, you're crossing both sides. But we don't realize why we do what we do, we're just programmed to do it. So, trust yourself, right? Okay, so...
What's that called, that little thing?
It's an energy stick, but I do acupressure, and it's kind of similar with opening up blocked channels of energy. And so as I lay hands, my energy forces it open because my energy is stronger than theirs because they have a weakness in whatever they're going through. So that's just an example. But it really, you can use that in any situation. This is how you can lay hands on one another and heal. This is why safe touch, which is very important to say safe touch because the amount of inappropriate abuse that's happening in the world is a pandemic, and I will speak on that in future speeches, is so important because remember, as you go about your life, we need each other. Now, I want to know that before you can learn to trust your intuition, you must learn that it's safe to trust the universe. I know that practice may have been difficult for some of you, and maybe a lot of you. We've all gone through trauma, but did you know that there is a reason and a purpose behind that trauma, and that it can all be explained through science? And I'm going to attempt to explain all this today, if I have time. So, trauma and PTSD used to be thought of only to affect people in the military or or having a physical trauma, losing a limb, or like a death. And now it's more widely accepted and understood that every person has trauma because our children are being abused daily. And this creates a disaster in their adult lives if that abuse isn't stopped and countered with compassion and love. Please keep in mind, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a doctor of any kind. I'm simply speaking from my observations working with my own clients the past 5 years and what I have routinely seen to be the patterns of those clients and their traumas compared with all the scientific research I've done to deeper understand my findings. Everything I've learned that I'll be sharing today is what has been shown to me during my sessions. While I'm channeling my energy, my client's energy, I did not go to school to learn everything that I know now, though I do have many certifications and licenses that have taught me a great deal of these sciences. I learned the majority of it by being in it and experiencing it firsthand, and then trying to find a science to back it up, which I have found. I'll do my best to provide the data to what I have found here today. If I fall short or I'm not clearly explaining things for you to understand, please kindly speak with me afterwards to gain clarity or resources. I only had about a week to prepare this because I decided to do this last minute. Okay, so it's my belief that every human soul has a very specific need in order to be whole. Some of those have been defined in the book, The 5 Love Languages, though I know there are many others that the humans need that we just don't really understand yet. So for today, we're just going to use these for references. Quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. When a child doesn't receive one or more of these love languages, they begin to feel unloved, and that creates the belief system that I am unsafe. It starts in childhood. It creates a void and an empty space in the soul where the love should be. This is where the trauma begins. A trauma that you would never assume was a real trauma because there was never any violence or purposeful mistreatment. But in my opinion, the void of that love creates a trauma that will play itself out in the adult as a trigger until it is recognized and healed. Children have very specific needs in order to grow and thrive, and there have been numerous studies that show if these needs are not met, it can even cause the child to die. I believe parenting classes and education on these subjects should be a part of every human's education. As an adult, you take all the love language classes to figure out who you are and how you love best, and the one that you choose that's your love language, I believe, is the one that you didn't get enough of as a child. And that's why that one hurts more than the others that you did get. Love languages can change as you get more of what you lacked and less of the other. So in learning this, I've found that it's very important to have a good overall understanding of these love languages and other necessary signs of showing love and affection, so that you can make sure you're keeping a balanced amount with your loved ones, spouses, and children. This will keep their cups full. When you see that your children are fighting, you're fighting with a loved one, you may ask yourself, are their love tanks full? Is mine? Check the list. If they haven't had any individual quality time or any of the other love needs with you, that's probably why they're upset. Children are just like adults. They get upset when they aren't feeling loved and cared for, and they take it out on their siblings because it's safe to take it out on their siblings or classmates, or sometimes the opposing parent. So when you see your children fighting, ask yourself, what is it that they're lacking? As children, everything we learn and experience becomes our view of the world. Children are sponges, so that's why it's important to start with the childhood. In my practice, it has always been true that the source of the trauma goes back to the immediate family members as the root of the issue. It may go to the mom and dad at the core, but there's so much prior to that with aunts and uncles and siblings that also plays a role. But it's really no one other than the immediate family that causes the root of the trauma, in my opinion. I believe that this is because the bloodline wants to heal itself, and so that brings triggers of the voids to the surface through pain and disease, so that the person will give it attention and heal it. Our soul, through electromagnetic biospheres, attracts partners with similar frequencies to that of our family members in order to recreate stresses from childhood and then trigger the childhood wound. We choose our partners for this very reason subconsciously so that we can heal. When we heal our generations. They've done recent studies that show the female egg sends out a chemical to attract the sperm that it chooses. It's not just survival of the fittest. It's not all about the sperm. It's about you're trying to make your genetics so strong that you outlast all of the chaos and, what's the word I'm looking for? Pollution. It's all intricately designed to preserve, strengthen, and heal our genetics. Our DNA is alive, and everything alive is designed to heal itself. We just need to learn to hear it. And we can do that by trusting our intuition. It has every answer we need. We can trust it even though we don't fully understand it. To understand trauma a little bit more, let's study the neuroscience of what happens to the brain through trauma and PTSD. Trauma physically changes the brain, so it's not accurate to call someone with trauma or PTSD mentally ill. It is a physical change of the brain reacting to stress. Trauma can create fixed neural networks that are isolated from other parts of the brain and resistant to change. These networks can become rigid, making it difficult for new information to reach the parts of the brain that store trauma memories. Consequently, a person with PTSD may perceive current events through a lens. This is why we have to remember this. They're looking through the lens of their trauma, leading to inaccurate perceptions and overreactions and underreactions. According to Wikipedia, when we're stressed, we experience decreased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex. So I thought this brain was a lot bigger when I bought it, so I just thought that was kind of funny how small it is. So our prefrontal cortex is right here in the frontal lobe. And it basically, it's considered to orchestrate the thoughts, the actions, and accordance with our internal goals. It's the link between a person's will to live, their personality. It has executive functions such as planning, decision-making, working memory, personality expression. So it's basically, I call it the future self. This is your moving forward, perfectly healed part of you. And so when we go through trauma, this is the first that encounters the stress. I personally believe that it's designed this way, where when we go through stress, this becomes weaker, and we feel tired, and we can't do as much, and we can't focus, and we kind of get a little depressed. And I think that it's designed this way to force us to go back and heal before we can move forward. Again, because as epigenetics theorizes, when we make changes to ourselves, it will heal the bloodline in future generations to come. Again, everything is alive and designed to heal itself, and our bloodline is no different. Now, once the signal is sent from the prefrontal cortex, it then delivers it down to the amygdala, kind of down in the middle. This is our filtration system. It filters out threat and says, are we safe or are we okay, or are we triggered? The amygdala sends off an alarm similar to a fire alarm that tells your body we are not safe. And then it sends that signal down to the hippocampus, which is down at the base. This processes memories and emotions. If these memories and emotions are painful and traumatic, you can get triggered and become confused on what was from the past versus what is happening now, and it creates a cycle. When this happens, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are released into the nervous system, causing you to switch from rest and digest and fight or flight, where your mind and body are saying, I'm not safe. You switch from the parasympathetic nervous system to the sympathetic nervous system, which is designed to keep you alive, but it doesn't let you heal. Our thoughts release hormones into the bloodstream, which then emits that Wi-Fi signal we spoke of earlier into the atmosphere, which creates our realities of distress. So this is why we know if I'm stressed out, then I view the world as stressful and everything around me just crumbles, versus if I'm happy, everything is good. And so this is why we have sayings like, when it rains it pours, or it all comes in threes. Like, we've all seen that happen. It just all falls down on you at once. But it's coming from within. And it's forcing you to stop and say, okay, what? I surrender. Because that's the goal, is to surrender. So the alternative to this would be to consciously think happy thoughts to change the outcome. While many choose different medications to block the stressful thoughts and feelings, in my practice, I cannot read people's energy that are on antidepressants or anti-anxiety. I just can't. It blocks the neurotransmitters, which then blocks me. There's things I can't say about that. I'm not a doctor. Okay. These medications block the neurotransmitters, and I have found that they also block my ability to read their emotions, and therefore I am not able to help them. Now, once we are stuck in a cycle of fight or flight, the brain physically changes and tells your body that the world is not safe. You then begin to show symptoms of distress and disease. The longer you stay in fight or flight, the stronger the coding becomes in the brain of believing the world is not safe. Our neurotransmitters carry the stress thoughts that will outweigh the positive, and when you don't use it, you'll lose it, causing the positive neurons to detach and only leaving the negative neurons. So that's why it's important that you filter it back through.